let's do this. I need to open up first, I think, some music. Um, let's see. Bear with me. This is a very important part of streaming. Um, what are we feeling? Ooh, synthwave. All right, we'll give this a try. And then I should probably share my screen. All right, let's get going. Where were we? We were building a Worldle clone called Worldle with a U. Oh my goodness, it just kicked in. Okay, let's maybe turn that down just a little bit. It's getting intense. No, that's good. Right, we're building a Worldle clone. No, that's too loud. There you go. We're building a Worldle clone, and we're doing it with Remix Run. And currently, let's see, I've been dealing with an issue where we've got it kind of working. We've got our form. We're going to say it only takes 5 letters, which is perfect. When we hit submit, we see that our guesses are there. And we see that I think the correct word right now is hard coded in. It's trout. So we can see that in the place where the letter exists in the word but is in the wrong place, we are getting the yellow color. And where the letter exists in the word in the correct place, we're getting the green color, somehow signifying that it's correct. So let's look at what I want to do first. I want to update when I test these things, that I want to show them in my form. I think that's what I'm going to start with. So I talked to some of the people running Remix to see if I understood things correctly. And it looks like we do want to do like a use state from React. And that's actually being pulled from React. So we don't pull it from Remix. And then you use it just like you would in React. So we don't have to worry about this sort of weird theoretical client server side data. Ben, what's up? This shout out just for you. Thank you for coming back. I've been watching some of your live stream replays. They're awesome. Anyone that is on Twitch, check out Ben D. Myers. Really cool stuff. Which one was I watching today? It was the one on 11 with Zach. And it was really funny when you called him out on some stuff. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was fun stuff. Okay, so we are doing some use state stuff with React, which means inside of our component definition is where we use the use state. So use loader is a remix thing, which is how we get data into both the client side and the server side, or the server render and the client render. Yeah, that 11D stream was good. That stuff is cool. The serverless 11D stuff. I haven't had a chance to play with 11D much. I would like to. I kind of thought it was going to be closer to what Remix is actually, where I can still work within a little more JavaScript. But I think my first impression of 11D was it's really for, well, I don't want to make too many assumptions, but a lot of it was focused around Markdown files. So I don't know. You give private and public 11D tours for anyone interested. That sounds a bit scandalous. Private tours? I'll meet you in the back room. 11D doesn't have to use Markdown. No, I'm sure it doesn't. I'm sure that this was the just the first glossing impression that I got. But I wasn't able. I thought I would be able to get a little bit quicker into just templating out some JavaScript stuff. I'll actually tell you the real reason I wanted to play with it was because I'm working on this library called Particles CSS. And it is an atomic CSS library for JavaScript applications. So I thought 11D would be perfect considering sort of their mantra of being, server rendered first and focus on, performance. One of the cool things about this is it actually, you write your styles in the CSS in JS way, but then all of the styles get removed at build time, which I thought maybe 11D would be able to be a good partner for, but I couldn't figure it out and I didn't want to do too much new stuff at once. But anyway, this is what it looks like: is you import the CSS function from Particles. Wow, I don't have highlighting in here. That sucks. And then you define your styles, and you can have something that's a little bit different about this compared to other CSS and JS solutions is that any of the shared styles. So if you ever mention padding 10 pixels in more than one place, they get deduplicated. And then you can see that here at the bottom, your CSS is going to be nothing before you build it. And then at build time, this JavaScript file up here gets turned into this JavaScript file down here, where your constants and the import statement and the function execution gets removed and replaced with just a static string of class names that would represent those CSS things. And then again, how I mentioned that the shared styles get deduplicated, how we mentioned padding 10 pixels in both of these. Each one gets the atomic class name for the 10 pixels of padding, and then the individual styles also get generated and built out. It's a project that's really under development right now, and currently it's a Vite-only plugin. But yeah, we'll see how it comes along. Yeah, there you go. So you just install in Vite, should be ready to go. So yeah, it's something that eventually I want to get into 11T and eventually maybe remix and see how it works, but kind of hard at the moment. Cool. So where were we? Right. I'm using state in React to set and update the current guess. So the current guess is going to be empty, which is going to correspond with the value of this input, right? And I'm actually not so familiar with React, but I think the way you would do that is say that value equals current guess. That looks promising. Thank you, GitHub, Copilot. I'm going to move this up. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is actually maybe just like split out, put here what the current guess is so we can see and do a little sanity check that I'm doing this correctly. And then I'm going to create a function that says, is it going to do it for me? Const handle submit is an event. Next line, event prevent default. That's not what I wanted, but nice try. Const handle submit is a function that takes the event, calls event prevent default, and then is going to, what do I want to do? I want to get the form data. So let's say data equals new form data from the event target, and then not yet GitHub Copilot. We're going to say guess equals close, but not quite. That is my guess. Man, it is trying really hard to do what it wants to do, but that's not what I want it to do. Smart. Incorrect, but smart. I wonder if I can actually coerce it to do some other stuff. I think with comments you can get GitHub Copilot to do some things. So I want to say update the current guess to the current guess data to the guess input. Okay, that's what I want you to do. Now, still trying to do the same thing. Oh well, we tried. Right, so then I want to say set current guess to the guess. And, we need to pop that onto my form. And we say on, on submit equals handle, that's the view way, equals handle submit. All right, so each key should have a different thing. That's fine. Write a value prop for the field without an on-change handler. Oh, that's right. I don't want this on submit. I want to do this actually on key up. Oh, key up. And this should not be on the form. This should be on my input. And then this is going to be actually slightly different. We don't want to prevent default. We don't need form data. I want this to be the event.target.value. So rebuilding at a value prop form field without on change. So I think I want this on key up because change would be after I make a change and then leave, like unfocus the input. Let's see what happens if I do this. Something's not happening correctly. So this may be something to do with React's synthetic events. Or because I'm doing the wrong event. Key up. Still not working correctly. Does that have to be on change? Okay, so that's interesting. React's event system, slightly different than the DOM system because the DOM, let's see, if I say document query selector for an input, I'm going to say var input equals that. Let's bump this up so you can see and clear that out. No. So the DOM behaves slightly different than React. And if you're a React developer, you probably know this already. But if we say our input dot add event listener for the change event, and we assign that to console log, I expect some interesting things. So when I type into this, I don't expect to see anything in the console, but I will get something on my UI as a result of React. So when I type, we don't see anything in the console. That's because this is on change. In fact, that change event did trigger just now. And we'll see why. It's because when I leave focus, so if I click out here, we see this other change event happening. To me, that's kind of annoying. I'm sure React team has a good reason for that, but it is what it is. The other interesting thing about change is if I change something and focus out, we trigger it. If I change something and focus out, we trigger it again. If I change something and then undo my changes and then unfocus, we don't get that change event. So there must be something about the React docs in there on like capturing that native change event, but fortunately I don't know off the top of my head. But that's fine. On change, we're going to handle change and we're going to update our guess. Cool. So now we need to modify what our guesses grid actually looks like, because as I type in, oh yeah, this key prop thing. Okay, cool. We have here the key is the letter index. Okay, I guess what we need is the guess index, because it's saying there's going to be duplicates. Yeah, unique key prop. There's duplicates because whatever. So we're going to say that the items is just going to be the guess index plus the letter index. Nice, easy way. No, not working. Let's see. This would be 0. This won't work because 0 plus 0 or 0 plus 1 could also be 1 plus 0. All right, fine. You don't like that. We'll do this then. There you go. You get... Oh, come on now. What is this? What is this? This should be, over the first iteration, this should be 0, 0, and then 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, 0, 4. Then it should be 1, 0. That ought to work. In fact, I'm so confident in that I'm going to print that here. Oops. I guess I don't need to do that part. That should work. Right. None of these are the same as any others, which means this key should be unique. Ben, you know what I'm doing wrong? Lifeline here. What's the problem here? Right? Looking at this key. Show code again. We're looking at the code. We're basically doing a two-dimensional array, a nested loop. We're looping over all of the guesses, and for each guess, we're looping over all of the letters. And we're outputting a div for each one. And I need a unique key, which I am generating from the guess index underscore letter index. As far as how this prints to the DOM, this is showing unique values. Because this can be 0 through 5, and this can be 0 through 4. And this is not something that's going to stop me from continuing, but it is something that's kind of annoying to have here. See, here's the keys that I'm assigning. I don't see any that are repeated. Wait, refresh the page. It should have refreshed on its own, and we still have the problem. Isn't that weird? Or clear errors, then refresh the page. I mean, that shouldn't be an issue. When I refresh, the errors should have cleared. And yeah, very interesting problem. I'm not crazy, right? That's fine. We can move on. That's not the point of this discussion today. So let's clear out this index. And now what we have is we have the guesses that are on the server side. I'm going to move this down because I think that makes more sense to me. Is we have a combination of a few things. We have the guesses that exist within the server, or the previous guesses, which starts out as an empty array. We have the current guess, which is an empty string. And we want to generate an array of guesses that kind of combines the two and has at least 6 items, 6 rows in it, each row having 5 columns. So I think this is not the right approach. Oh, Ben saw something. I found the issue. What's the issue? Hit me. You sound so excited, by the way. I got to put this up. Whee! 3 exclamation points. I love it. Guesses.map creates a list of fragments. Yeah. Do fragments need keys on them as well? Really? Okay. Just like that, or just like that. Okay, so maybe that's my problem. So if that's the case, is that all I need to do? That doesn't look right. Oh, that's really annoying. I have to do react dot fragment boo, which means I probably have to import React from React, which means this doesn't need this whole fancy song and dance. Thank you, Ben, assuming that this works. Maybe I still need that. I have my fragment. Oh, there you go. I probably need to do this as well. Okay, we're reading. Our errors are gone. Thank you, Ben. Good eye. Love it. We don't need this little doohickey we're doing because the fragments are being tracked and each of the other things are being tracked. The reason there. Cool. Hey, good eye. That's good to know. A couple things that I know from watching the React ecosystem. Did not know about that one. So, okay. And now, well, I mean, maybe. No, that does make sense as a 2-dimensional array. I like that. Okay, so now the state of my application is interesting because really I don't want to track the current guess. I want to keep track of the last row or the current guesses row. So I'm going to actually modify this so that this is the current guess, set current guess, but instead of an empty string, I want to use an empty array. And the current guess down here is no longer going to be the current guess value. It's going to be that array, and we're going to join with empty strings. So if effectively I want to store my state as separate elements, and then maybe I don't, but because my top level State is saying we're using a two-dimensional array, an array of arrays of letters. I basically want my current guess to match that. That way, let's see, this is also going to have to say join if we want to show it. And then I'm going to update this. So once we get the result, we want that to be, that's going to be a string, and we want to split on that string, turning it into an array, and updating set current guess, updating the value of current guess. So if that works, we should see, yep, everything works. Cool. Everything works that did work before. So now we need to actually show our current guess as we type into the grid. So I'm going to update this guesses grid, which is going to first, let's see. Oh, this is so convoluted now. I think this is getting a little bit too fancy in here, unfortunately. So the problem that I'm thinking through right now is that I need to keep track of the current guess, and I need to append that to the list, the guesses grid. So what I can do is say, we're looping over an array with 6 items. We're grabbing the existing guesses if they exist. Otherwise, we're falling back. And then I guess one thing I can do, I don't know if I'm going to love this, but I can say, I don't know if I love this. Guesses might have 0 items in it. Guesses might have 2 items in it. So I'm going to say guesses grid at the index of guesses dot length guesses dot length equals current guess. I don't know how much I'm going to love this, but let's see. Okay, cool. It's it's working, but it's terrible. What do we end up with? We're adding something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Right. That's because this is saying that the array that we're pushing might have a single item in it. Oh, this is so poorly done. Okay. This is so poorly done, but I need to get it to work. I need to get it to work before I can refactor it. So let's say const new guess equals that yeah, okay, value equals target value. And here we're going to do something similar, which are going to return, let's see, I need the current value and the index. And then we're going to return value at index or an empty thing. Man, I am not proud of this code, but I do think it's going to get the job done. It's working, but it's terrible. Yes. Oh man. Okay. Cool. We got the reload. Cool. It's working, and it is terrible. It's working, but it's terrible. HERT. Love it. Okay, we have another problem. And that is that while I'm guessing, it's now telling me if I'm entering this correctly or not. So I think I don't love the direction that I'm going. I think it's time for a refactor. And I think the refactor is definitely in what's going on in this guesses grid. The fact that I am combining previous guesses, the current guess, and just empty space means that all of that logic is combined. And there is logic that should only exist for previous guesses. There is logic that should only exist for the new guess. And there is logic, and I guess there's not much logic for the future guesses. They just kind of remain indifferent. So it's working, but it's terrible. So let's start with this. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to start with the current guesses, and I'm going to actually change that to previous guesses. Previous guesses. Cool. Okay. And I'm going to say const. No, I need another state thing here. Okay, so we've got the current state, and I'm going to say remaining guesses. Set remaining guesses. I'm going to pull this down. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build an array of current guesses, which we already have, or previous guesses, which we already have from the previous guesses. Theoretically, when the server loads, we're grabbing that data off of the server. It could be anywhere from 0 to 6. How's the music, by the way? Is it too loud? It's pretty loud for me, but whenever I watch these, it's like not, I can barely hear it. So it's like kind of almost so loud that it's distracting and hard to think. Music's fine. All right, let's do it. How about the genre? Yo, Ben, you're being a good sport. Let me reward you with choosing the next genre of music, huh? We've got lo-fi, electronic, synthwave, which is what we're currently listening to, hip-hop, hi-fi, hype tracks, more hype tracks, rock, indie pop, Chiptune, which is one of my personal favorites. Ambient, and let's see, house, drum, dubstep, chill step. Any of those stand out? Let me know. You're in control. Kind of. I'm in control, but I'm easily influenced. Let's do some chiptune. I like it. Hell yeah. It's a little quiet right now. I think it's about to kick in though. There it is. Wow, this is chiptune. This is like kind of heavy for chiptune. This is not the chiptune that I want to listen to. Come on, give me some video game music. There we go. That's more like it. So happy. All right, so where was I? Right, we've got the previous guesses. And I want the remaining guesses to essentially be remaining guesses are going to be the, what is it, 6 minus previous guesses dot length and minus, well, I guess minus the current guess, which we don't need to account for. We can just say 5, right? Okay, so that's going to be the initial number of remaining guesses. It's the be the chiptune you wish to see in the world. Yes. So the number of remaining guesses, the logic is we take the number that are in of previous guesses, which could be minimum 0, maximum 6. We add to that the current guess, because that's going to be a little bit of different logic. So previous guesses plus current guess, and we subtract all of that from the total remaining guesses, which could be a maximum of 6, right? So 6 minus 1 is 5 minus previous guesses dot length. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so now we're going to go to the guesses grid. Was just a terrible implementation, and it needs to go. Oh man, am I going to need to set state for the previous guesses? I don't think so. That should come from the loader, which should be fine. So let's see. Guesses grid. No, we don't want that anymore. We want the, let's see. Let's comment that out, because I don't want to make this too hard on myself. But previous guesses.map is going to be the guess and the guess index, the EE. And then that's going to return that's going to follow this same logic, this React fragment thing. What is that doing? That should return that. That should be out here. This should correspond to that. And why are you complaining? Unexpected token. Right. Guess should not be letters. Should be that. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So far, that's working for our previous guesses, I believe. Oh man, this chiptune, this is inspirational stuff. This is like the montage Maybe not. It's getting deep. I feel like this should work like that. Okay, so this very clearly is going to need to be its own component pretty soon here, because we are literally going to do the exact same thing. We need the current guess, which I think we don't need to do guesses, but we can just take this letters map. All right, what, come on, what's this? Let's see. Oh, do I have one too many? Do I have one too many? No. Do I have one too few? Yes, that was the problem. One too few. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to map over the current guess, which is an array. And I think the fact that I'm doing a two-dimensional array just is also not right. It doesn't make sense. I have to do too many joins and splits that way. But we'll work with it for now. The current guess is that. I think that should be fine. It's complaining about some things that it's just going to keep complaining about, which we'll solve eventually. Okay, now we've got, this looks right. We only have our first row because our previous guesses don't exist. Although if we add one and we hit submit, now our previous guess does exist. And if we do another guess, we are appending to that list. Cool. We don't want that logic. We basically don't want any of this logic. The class can just be static string on our current guess, because that gives away the secret, which spoils the fun. Okay. Oops. Cool. Test. We submit that. It's working. The second guess is heart, which is working. Cool. Not giving away any secrets. And then we're going to do one more list, which is essentially based on the remaining guesses. And that could be an array, but I don't think it needs to be. And I'm going to uncomment that, because we're going to do array.from, where the length is the remaining guesses. And we don't want this logic either. I mean, we could have it, but because they're never going to be updated, it really doesn't matter. So cool. Can I read property of undefined? So that should be, by default, I think that should be 5, which means that we should be able to make an array with a length of 5 and then map over it. In fact, index, I'm going to get rid of that, get rid of that. This should be the index. We don't need this. Ah, that's why, because that's undefined. So we don't need that. We don't need the fragment at all. This is it. Okay, so we do have three sort of distinct mappings that we're doing here, right? And please work. Awesome. Kind of not really. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the current guess. So let's do a quick little sanity check there. Oops. And throw the remaining guesses. I'm just going to keep doing... wow, this is intense. Where's my remaining guesses? You're not telling me anything. Okay. Remaining guesses is 5. Why do I not have an array of 5 items? Okay, well. All right, let's take a different approach. We're going to try changing the remaining guesses into an array. Yeah, length of 5 minus that. Tell me I'm doing something wrong now. Come on. What am I doing wrong? Remaining guesses. Watch this. Let's see. What you got on me? This is going to be an array with... There's my array. 5 items. Oh, I know what I did wrong. I think I know what I did wrong. No, I have no idea what I did wrong. That should be generating 5 divs there. Guesses grid anymore, right? No. I am going to need this. My index, that's going to go down there. And I am going to need... Man, one thing that Vue does really nicely is this whole like looping over things is just a cinch that React is not there on. So I want an array from length 5 Yeah, one of those things. Yeah, iterating React. And you know, the weird thing is that right? Let's see. 1, 2. I think that's right. Vue makes it so nice. Like in Vue, let's see. If I want to loop over something, I can do it this way. Like, or let's say like UL. Yeah, UL. That's not right. UL LI, and I could say like V4 equals. I mean, you may have already seen this, but let's say V item in 5. I can just give a number, and I'll end up with 5 LIs, and I can put the or like let's say this is the index, I guess, and then I can do like that and just print it. It's so nice compared to React. I think if I just wanted to print 5, well, maybe I'm wrong. I don't. Maybe there's another way in React, but I think to do that, I need to do array from length 5, and then, well, yeah, I need to do that. And then I don't have this. I think these are equivalent, right? This is Vue. This is React. And people love React. I'm sure it's awesome. This is kind of annoying though. Okay, I don't know how we fixed it, but maybe it was just a refresh that was a problem. Let's see. Encounter 2 children with the same key 4. That's probably because they're the guest index is there and the letter index is there. We have the key there. We have the key there. That's my problem. Right? Gee. Okay. Yeah. Oh, cool. We got a refresh. We have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guesses, which means I did something wrong with my maths. Let me do a test really quick. That is my guess row. That is my previous guesses row. That is my new guesses row. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, of course, I have my math wrong here. Because I'm saying, no, I don't know if I have my math wrong here. This is right. Remaining guesses should have a maximum of 5 because when you don't have any guesses, your current guess. Okay, let me give myself a little bit of help here. Oh. Yeah, this will be fine. This is not going to work out very well, but because that's going to be in a grid. Okay. Previous guesses, current guesses, and this is going to be future guesses. So there's some weird. Is it Okay. It's just really slow to reload. Ben, I've inspired you to build a Worldle game with 11 serverless. Don't do it. No, you should try it. It's a fun little like real world example. And I think zero client side JS though. Zero client side JS. I think it's possible. I think the tricky part that you're going to have there is with the current guess. There you go. That's my problem. My array is not showing. Okay. Interesting. Is that my current guess is not coming up. That makes sense because my current guess is an empty array. It should not be an empty array. Oh, this is so annoying. Array from... This is really annoying. Length 4. No, don't do that. I just want length 4. I mean, I just want length 5. Okay, that's really ugly. My choice to do a two-dimensional array has clearly backfired. Okay, cool. So here we are. We have our 6 rows. We have our current guesses. We have our future guesses. And if I submit a guess, we see our past guesses as well as our current guesses and our future guesses. Cool. Zero client-side JS for this. So the reason why I think that you're going to have a problem with the zero client-side JS is this one here is showing the current guess as you type. And there probably is some CSS only wizardry that you could work out so that you kind of hide this input, but then actually reveal it as someone types. So effectively this whole row becomes an overlay of this input or something like that. But boy, that is a problem I wouldn't want to solve, because then you're also like CSS grid is kind of out of the question there, because these, well, actually in your case, it's out of the question. But if these were spans, then I don't know. It sacrifices things like preserving guesses between page loads, I think, but I think it could make a passable experience. Go for it. I think you should go for it. Yeah, I don't think it looked like the original game. No, I don't think so either. But I don't think what we're working on does either. So, all right. I just realized that we are up on time. I think that we hit a pretty interesting place. So let's do a little recap of what we've got working. It's terrible, but it works. That's going to be the mantra for today. Okay, so we don't need React here, or we do need React there? Looks like I guess I don't need the React to import React library. Cool. Web dev journey, stepping in for the recap. Oh, you missed a show. You missed your opportunity to pick the music, and now we're listening to chiptunes. Okay, so the recap. What did we cover? So after struggling with some of the state management of hiding and showing the current guess on the grid here, well, let me... I think I need to do a little bit of styles here. Let me add just a little bit of styles so we can... the letter... I think we want that. We want this to be 2 pixels at the moment. And then I want to fix... I want to remove these placeholder things that I'm showing. Come on, this is actually really slow. Okay, so here's where we are on the recap. So to recap, what we've covered is in the previous episodes, we've had trouble with updating the information in our current guess slot with what we're actually inputting here. And today, we're able, after talking to some of the remix creators, the way we do that is actually importing use state from React. So with use state, we can set up some reactive state, which today looks terrible because let's see, this is no longer needed because we've made some poor decisions, but we're moving forward and we'll refactor later. But it allows us to set up some state with a current guess, and it allows us to have this callback that can change when we make a new guess. Another change that we've made is we've basically made a grid of all of the previous guesses, one row for the current guess, and however many rows for the remaining guesses. So when we look at it now, we can see that my first guess, or my guess, takes up that first row as I type, and it updates as we would like. So let's say tests, and once I submit, that data goes to the backend. So once the page reloads, and I think it's reloading. Yeah, once the page reloads, now we have a guess that we had made on a previous attempt. And that's showing us, which letters are in the right space and which letters exist but are in the wrong space. And now we move on again to, in our markup, we've separated the previous guesses from the current guess from the future guesses or remaining guesses. So however many previous guesses we've made, we'll loop over, and then the current guess we'll put right after, and then any that we have left over will take up the remaining spaces. So in theory, the second row should be the current guess. And if I say heart, sure enough, there it is as the current guess. And now we just have this problem to deal with where our backend logic is not properly keeping track of the previous guesses. And that's something that I always also discuss with the Remix Run folks, and I think we'll look at solving that in the next show. Was that everything? I think that was everything. And I'm getting a phone call, so I'm going to go. But if you have questions, comments, or concerns, or you have some project tomorrow that you want to look at, bring it tomorrow. I'm going to be here at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard. So thanks again for Ben, Web Dev Journey. I think I know your name, but I don't want to be wrong, so I'm just going to call you Web Dev Journey. Really appreciate y'all coming back, and we'll see you tomorrow.